Good morning, everyone. We just finished doing a program this morning about the pastors in Albuquerque and the gospel as well in Albuquerque, New Mexico. It was a good program with Pastor Manuel Olivari, and we thank him very much. I know we had to just chase him out of here because Mary Ingham arrived, and he says, "I'm in the house," and when Mary's in the house, something special. So my name is Ed Vargas. We have Mary Ingham, County Commissioner Bernardillo D2, uh, and Maria de Jesus, the troublemaker. Always, I known him like that, and I hope she never changes. Myself,
Yay!
I'm the peace man
Oh
that's,
yeah, yeah,
that lives by the truth and walks with no fear. That's it.
well,
You know,
that's that's true. But you're not the good one, Senor Vargas. You just walk with no fear and you tell the truth. But you're not the good one, okay? And I'm certainly not the
I
good one.
know. I mean, hey, I always say one thing in my life, and I've been very gracious. Even when the companies I worked, everybody, whenever came a customer and said in front of us, "Hey, your product stinks. Hey, this is ugly. Hey, this is this," and the company used to be very upset, relentless about that. And I said, "Why would you want to do that? Don't you know how much my efforts are to be able to learn? You know how much the companies should be grateful that they paid tons, millions. I work for a company called Honeywell. I spent billions of dollars for marketing to bring, and
Number one,
I learned
number one.
15, 20. Hold on. I learned 20, 15, 25 years ago from a man that was my boss, Dave James, at Northern Computer. We were number one in the world because of the mind of that man. And he says, Eduardo, you know how lucky you are having the one-on-one attention of somebody telling you something like that? Why would you be upset? You should work every day to be in that situation. Better if you don't spend one cent on that. That's why since then it changed my life. Everybody criticizes me. I say, thank you. What do we have here? He says something, a mirror is being reflected on me that I didn't like something about that person that is in me. And he had a boldness to say it to me. I say, wow, I mean, you got to be thankful for it. You know what I mean? That's why I say I always thank Maria de Jesus because she's the one who has no hair or nothing like that. Like we say it in Spanish, una persona de pocas pulgas. It says, a person without a few a few fleas. That's what we say in Spanish. She's a
Yeah.
person who does not walks the truth and says what thinks. It's not the same about saying what you think and thinking what you say. Which one of those two are you, Maria de Jesus?
You
Good
know what,
morning.
Senor Vargas, and my
Welcome to the
beautiful
show.
Mary. You know what, you two. I I'm sorry, but Mary, you know me now. Somebody's got to say it. I'm the nicest person ever. I am. I am. I could be the nicest person. But when it comes to kingdom bound, when it comes to my Jesus, I'm going to do what he tells me to do. I'm not going to do what people want to hear and what people think that I should say and what people is going to ruffle their feathers. Because it's going to ruffle their feathers, I'm going to say it. Because Mary and Senor Vargas, you know that everything that comes out of its mouth has evidence, has proof. I have proof. And if anybody wants to see proof, just let me know if they want to hear. Sometimes I can't tell you because it's somebody that doesn't want the name out, that has shown me something, that has told me something. So I respect that. I get my information from people who are there in the dungeon, who are there in what I give out. Sometimes they don't want me to give their names, and I won't. Lately, I've been getting a lot of information from this beautiful person, and I'm not going to give the name, but OMG. Mary,
Okay, Maria de Jesus.
I
Go
want
ahead,
to
go ahead.
talk
Say
about.
it, say it, say it before I'm charged right now, and I want to focus and work on
Oh,
Mary.
I know this is about Mary, Senor Vargas. See, Mary, how I need to calm him down, and then he tells the people, and then he tells the people that I'm always telling him what to do. That's not even true. But Mary, Senor Vargas, I love you. I
I
do, I
love
do,
you
I do.
too.
You're so awesome. You're he. You know what? Let me say something. This man, since I met him, since I talked to him on the phone, and then he asked me to come in for an interview, that was a God sent answered prayer. We just clicked. We clicked because he wasn't a total believer then, but this man has always been very respectful, a very gentleman. And when he talks about his mother, that's true. His mother raised him, to be that perfect little gentleman, the way my daughter raised my two grandsons, to respect women. But the thing is, Senor Vargas has taken all the caca from me. He has taken so much from me, but he knows that I have dished this out because I love my Jesus. And anything that comes against my Jesus, like those other programs, I will get ugly. I will get ugly. But Senor Vargas, um, I
You
want
make
to
me cry.
I want Mary I want Mary to talk about what she's doing and why she's doing it. And first of all, I want to thank Father for this program. I want to thank Father for you. I want to thank Father for Mary. I want to thank Father for all the amores that are tuning in. God bless you. I love you. I'm done.
Okay, one thing that I wanted to say to Mary, Mary, thank you very much for taking the time for showing us, showing me most of all that you care about what you're going to do. There is not an interest purpose in you about what you gaining, what's in it for you. You know, that's what I admire and I respect that. That's why I support and I help Mary as much as the length I have to go to be able to see that someone like her, somebody like Mercy May, Marcy, Marcy May, and like Miss
Right.
Trujillo as well, that they have a group of women here that are trying to help us bring us to what really we deserve in here and telling us, listen, these are the things that are not quite they're not in the direction that it should be. Let's not talk about facing wrong or right. It's about, when you want to say, I want to make a change, I always thought about different long time ago as well. I was learning. You know what? When you say I'm going to change, boy, you really putting yourself with an obstacle at saying, I want to see the improvement tomorrow. Okay. And when you don't see that, you're desperate and don't have patience because you want to see results. Me in my life, long time ago, I said, I'm improving my life. My changes my whole entire life. From the moment I was born to the moment. It's the distance between one point A and point B that's called the time. I That is something that I learned myself. We have to be patient with ourselves, Maria de Jesus. We need
Yes.
to give ourselves the time to be able to understand the things around us. And that's one thing I liked about Mary is because she's relentless. Mary, go ahead. Tell us from all the things that we talked about, abortion, about immigration, the illegal immigrants, and the school system, gender, and all that. What do you see in New Mexico or the Albuquerque, New Bernalillo County, where you're going to serve soon? Where do you see the contrast between that? What's the pro and the cons? Go
I
ahead.
just want to comment first about what you were saying with the gentleness of Jesus towards us, that when I was in my 30s, when I finally bent my knee to Jesus, my life was bad enough that I said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And he's so kind and gentle and knows us so well that he doesn't just like, he's catching fish, he's a fisher and made us fishers of men, that he doesn't just gut the fish and clean it out. He gently lets us know through time, through experiences, what the sin in our lives is. And it's so precious when you experience that, because if Jesus had ripped out all the sin in my life at the very beginning, um, I'd have been dead. I've been a dead fish laying there. I'd gone to heaven, but he gently works with us and removes our sin and brings sin to our mind through other people, through his word, through different ways. And I just want to point that out, because sometimes when we're just getting started in the walk with Jesus, it's rough, because he's exposing a lot of things in our life that we really cling to and hung on to, and now he's taking those away slowly and bringing those to our mind. So I just want to say that. The other thing, kind of the foundational, part of our, our founding of our whole country was based on the fact that this individual common people would be the people that step up and serve and take their turn to help make laws, to help guide the government, guide our country and our state and our county. And that's all I am. I am not any different than any other person. That should be, they should move the chairs around so that I could sit someplace in particular. That'd be ridiculous. So um, I just think that for me, it was looking at our poor state that has been so unbalanced, because the whole our founding fathers wanted balance in our country. They wanted different views. They wanted different political parties to be represented in the governing bodies like the Congress or the state or state or state senate or state house. In county government, they wanted a variety of people to be able to bring different views and discuss things and decide what is the best direction for our people. Also to listen to people through the newspaper, through phone calls, through visits, whatever it is, that they would truly be included in the government process, and it wouldn't be something where it's so complicated that nobody can understand what in the world is going on. And I think we're in that place now where it's become so complicated and so unbalanced, especially in New Mexico, that it's really crazy and really insane the way it's being done. So the reason that, one of the big reasons I'm running is to bring a different view, a different voice into, into the county commission. Um, right now in our Bernalillo County, there are five commissioners, and
Well,
the way that the founders would see it would be there'd be two and three, or something like that, as far as voices, and they'd work together and listen to the others. What's happening right now in our Bernalillo County Commission is that there is either one or two who are thinking conservatively at all, and the other three basically are not listening at all to those two districts, to the people of those districts, or to those two commissioners. And that's not right. And right now they're filling positions on boards that are very important, like an air quality board, for instance. And the one Republican person that's on there, Walt Benson, he says he votes no for who they're trying to put on there. He's recommended three people, and the basic answer is because you're recommending them, we're not going to look at them. We're not going to consider those people. And they bring up a guy who Paul Benson says he may be a fine person and maybe a fine guy to be on there, but it's not balanced. It's not where there voices that are varied enough to really help. And our whole state has slanted so far. The ship is about to overturn because there's way too many voices on one side, way too many Democrats for all the way down from the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals at the state level, and then the mayor, the governor, everything in Bernalillo County is so slanted toward a progressive side that we're about to slide off the map. And that's why I'm running, and that's why Renee Coronado is running. That if possible if God would help us to get on that commission. It could change it to have a more of a godly view of our people and of our government.
Mary, how many Republicans on the commissioners board?
1 out of 5.
How many?
One.
One Republican. Is it 5?
Yes.
So 4 Democrats, 1 Republican.
Yes.
And they meet on Tuesday, right?
Uh, every other Tuesday.
It's coming Tuesday. I know because I've been asked to speak Tuesday.
Oh, that'd be great.
So yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this because it reminds me of when we went up to the school board meeting after they had that shenanigan at Atrisco High School for the prom. And not one parent showed up. One dad showed up, Doctor, I forgot his name, but one dad showed up and I went. So I was just wondering who I'm going to be speaking to, and that's good to know that there's at least one person who will understand what God's going to be saying through me. So now, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you see, the person that is the incumbent right now, who's timed out, he's served 2 terms. He has been voting conservatively a lot with Walt Benson, even though he is a Democrat.
Oh, so he's kind of a little bit changing his ways.
He's just realized that it makes a lot of what Walt Benson and what the Republican and what the conservative side is saying is much better for the people in the county than going off into some of this very progressive stuff.
Okay. Okay. I just was wondering. And Mary, why did you go into this situation with district commissioner and all this? Why?
Well,
County commissioner.
in 2019, I was, kind of coming to the end of my career at Carrie Tingley Hospital as a physical therapist, and I said, you know what, I've been so busy with 5 kids and full-time job and whatever else that I had not been paying very good attention to what was happening in our state, in our city. And I mean, I always voted and tried my best to choose, based on virtues and values of the people, but I didn't really know very much of what was happening. So I started to learn and realized it was that person that would say, well, why can't there ever be 2 people to vote for in Southwest Albuquerque in the South Valley? Why can't we ever have 2 people to consider? It's always just a selection. Like there's one person,
Right.
that's it, their turn. So God prompted me to put my name on the ballot. I felt so, and there was a lady thankfully running for House, Diana Vargas, and Senate was what was left. And like, oh my gosh, that's a giant step from 0 to the high level to be Senate. But people said, well, put your name on there. Let people know that there is someone who's conservative, who loves Jesus, who's for life on that ballot. So that's what I did, and that was in the middle of COVID, and it was extra hard time
Wow.
for everybody. But I believe we need a choice, and in a lot of districts, there's not a choice. There's no one running who's conservative because I think, well, it's a big, hard thing to do to run for office, and it appears as if in Bernalillo County there's almost no chance of winning. But my thing was, what, that's God's thing of who wins and who loses. And if he gives me a voice to speak up for the unborn, particularly, that was one of my biggest things, was to say, if we don't have life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness is not even possible. So I just stuck up there for that reason mainly. And then it's obviously learned more and realized that all kinds of things are affected by that very one, that one choice. And the choice of having God in our government, which he was from the very beginning, but has been cast out of almost every government situation, that we can bring back prayer and life and Jesus into back into our public sphere, we will have a chance of surviving.
Mary, don't give us any names because they don't count. Only your name counts in this ballot. How many of the enemies are running against you?
There were two men in the primary, um, and then so now there's just one that's running against him. It's that kind of thing where you look at who his backers are, and they are all of the typical people who voted for all for all the things we're trying to fight in the referendum. Or they voted to have parents have no knowledge of children receiving transgender care, reproductive care for this is the church forcing things on the churches, people on the churches that they don't want to have be working there, a person who's transgender, um, changed our election laws by 200 more pages added to it. It just, that's who's backing him, plus all of the teachers unions and those people who are all on that side. That's where all his money's coming from and his backing. And I don't have anything against him, personally. I know him a little bit. We've been at a lot of meetings together, but it's just the same old. Like, now it's your turn, sir, to be this. And we don't need that. We need people who are thinking, who are separate from all of that money.
Mary, it's really frustrating to me. Okay, I'm gonna say it. It's really frustrating how people can be so stupid, so blind, so like their heads up their butt. Can't they see truth? Can't they see what we've seen in past? Can't they see where we're living? It seems to me that people who are comfortable with money, which everybody thinks it's the Republicans. The Republicans are filthy rich. All they want is luxury for themselves, and they don't give a damn because they're living up high. It's the other way around, people. Open your eyes. Get out of your nalgas. Mary, even these people that don't have an issue at the market paying $30 for a piece of meat, $12 for 12 dozen eggs, $6 for milk, even they don't have a problem. Okay, can't they see the consequences of our actions in voting? This is leading us to war, to a nightmare. Can you imagine, Mary and Senor Vargas, if if the mental keep on coming into our country, if the jailbirds, prison people keep coming into our country? Mary and Senor Vargas, we're not dumb. We know that this communist party that's trying to lead our country now, these two crazy, demented, and brainless, we know that they're killing this country. Okay, but do we know the consequences, Mary? Where is America going to be in 2 years? The streets, the streets. We look at it now. The streets of the huge cities, they're all zombied out, Mary. We're killing the baby at 9 months. We're telling the mom he's been aborted, but really we're selling a newborn baby to China to do whatever they want with it. We're selling parts, life parts, to whoever to do whatever they want with it. Where are we going to be in 2 years?
Worse. Simple as that. If you're not going right, you're going wrong. If you're making it worse than right, you know. And there's so many problems here and everywhere too, though. But Mary, I like to say, the schools. What do you find in schools that I want to talk about every topic? School, immigration, gender, and abortion. Let's give ourselves 5 minutes on that, and I think we'll be good. What do you find in schools that people are not aware that it should come back to the way, like Barbara Streisand has a son, the way we were? What is it that we need to have that one day we live happy and everything was according to the families, to the children? It was a smile, it was proud of being in the school. I'm going to school because you had sport, you got education, you got understanding, you had a complement of the family values. What do you see and what do you think it should be happening and what can you, Mary Ingham, do about it?
I think the schools are a reflection of what's happening in our society, and a lot of families are broken. There's so much divorce. There's so many children born out of wedlock where the dads, particularly, there's some dads that are raising children, but more often the dads have vacated their children, so they're single moms, um, trying to trying to make it, trying to date other crazy people, and the finances, all that kind of stuff is a struggle for the children. Then what you're saying is that the children are often not taught to be a gentleman, to
Mhm.
be a gentlewoman, to respect others, and those very basic things that the Bible teaches of responsibility for self instead of blaming others, of telling the truth, of respecting the rule of law, of saying that the Ten Commandments are right. That you're okay to steal because the person that you're stealing from is rich, or it's a big fancy store that doesn't shouldn't care whether I steal up to $1,000 of stuff. Just our view of right and wrong, of godly values, is really shaken in our whole society. And I think when we see anything related to children, we just see that reflection right there in those kids of not respecting their teachers, and not, you know, it's tough because so many good teachers have left that field because they
And
can't even teach. The classrooms are so disruptive. And then the good and faithful teachers leave. Also, those laws force them to affirm and say, yes, I won't say anything against your idea at age 15 to decide to go through surgery to change from a girl to a boy, or vice versa. And there's so many things that are being forced down the throats of teachers, and the laws that are made in Santa Fe and other states, that they can't teach, they can't bring their
yes,
basic ways that children should behave and their values and virtues into the classroom. So I think that's the worst part of it. People wisely, sadly, are leaving the public schools. They're shrinking, and all the while they're putting out bonds to get more money. And because with the whole situation with bonds, it's the property owners that have to pay for those. Everybody, of course, says, I like my library, I like my senior center, I like the schools. That's not the point. They don't need any more money because they're shrinking in their services in the public schools. Libraries also, shrinking. And so when we just continue to say, yes, 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 here's more money, government, that's really hard. It's really wrong. And we need to really clearly think, but the bonds always pass because people think, because the way they phrase them, they're not true. And they never have any accountability for, well, how am I spending this money?
Exactly, but what you bring to the table, right?
What would I bring? What I would do with the bonds is that before they're allowed to put up another bond, that they clearly tell public, what did you indeed spend that on, and what was the value that people got from paying those extra property taxes. And that's not being done at this point.
The better use of resources and be able to say, hey, you were given that not for you to do at your free will, but to, hey, we're giving you the money. You need to let us know. Wow, is it Is it working? Does it have a purpose? Does it have a cause? Things like that.
And clearly, how was it spent?
Exactly. Now let's go to another subject because I want to hit all those three, and I have one nice special one that I'll mention it at the end. The other one is immigration. What is happening?
Well, I think our immigration system for people who are doing it legally is very cumbersome, costly. My daughter-in-law is going through that process. She was brought here as a child from Guatemala. And so she's, slowly making it through that
How
process.
long has she been here?
She was 2 years old. She's
And
been here for 20.
she a resident?
5 years.
What is the
Yes,
problem
she's
with her?
become a resident.
Does she has naturalization? Is she not?
She's working on that now.
Okay, good,
She's at the last stage.
beautiful. Because there's one application that she can do it on her own, or she can do it. And
They pay
anyway,
quite a bit of money for a lawyer to guide
hey,
them through that.
I would have helped her. I good at. I'm working here helping people, but not that I'm trying to plug in what I.
Right.
But I know what you just said. Lawyers, what? A big amount of money. That's something that I encounter every time over here. But you got to take both sides of the coin. Sometimes people get hammered, like we say, with $10,000 for something that here probably at least 70% say. But the other side of the coin is that some immigrants come over here, like I was one. I can't criticize, but be thankful for this country for opening the doors. But they think everything is a self-serve menu table. You know what I mean? It's a value of the thing. This, what's that? It's a value of the things that we have here. They don't recognize what we stand for. Something good and right takes time. There's a cost for it. It's not a free will. It's not a table set out there with many things. You know what I mean? That you can come and pick and choose and says, "Well, I'll walk away. Thank you very much." While everybody else is putting food on the table.
That's one thing that's happening with the illegal immigration. At this point, we have spent tons of taxpayer money to lure people in here and give them all kinds of, place to live, food, medical care, education, all those kinds of things, but that it costs very costly, and it's also kicking out a lot of American citizens from those services. And eventually that's gonna balance out, and there's gonna be some very angry, there already are, I think, some very angry immigrants who really don't want to be Americans. They came here for the
Yeah,
freedom.
some of them is good that we open the door, and I think most of them. But we have to make sure. I'm talking about a personal opinion. It's not a legal advisor opinion that I'm giving over here, but we need to do a good job of knowing who's walking in your. It's like in your home. Are you going to open the door to anybody just because he's standing out there and he says, "I need help. I need this." You don't know with the excuse of being with a face with I need help and I'm hungry. I need to be dressed. I need a shirt. No, as soon as they walk through your door, they vandalize it. They rob you, or probably to the point that it is going to jeopardize your life, your family's safety. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying who we have here, criticizing them, but we need to because of the fact that in some states there is a bunch of people, countries that empty their prison, send people that are not worth having in this country. I mean, why do we
But
need to? Go ahead.
you know, Senor Vargas and Mary, it's not the legal and illegal immigrants. It's our Communist Party government. It's our fault. It's the government's fault, and then it's our fault for letting it happen. We just accept everything demented and stupid bring to the table. We accept it. They pass laws at midnight up at the state capitol. We sit, we don't fight the next day and say, "Hey, you did this when I was asleep. What the heck?" We don't speak up. And then the people that speak up, we criticize, we condemn. President Donald Trump is against the world. And everything that people bring up against him, all I can say is he's educated. He knows his rights. He can't help it if he's educated. You get your head out of your butt, educate yourself, and maybe you'll do some of the stuff that he does. And then the media, he's up against the media. This woman, this man are asking questions at a debate. Why are they yelling at him? Why do they ask a question of him? And then the minute he starts answering, they're interrupting, they're yelling. Why didn't they do that to Brainless? They didn't interrupt her. They didn't yell at her. Why do we condemn a man? Why are we trying to kill him? He's only trying to fix what he can, because it's only God. God is number one. God is going to fix what's going to be fixed. But Father has instruments.
Exactly, Maria de Jesus.
President Donald Trump is only trying to help our country, and we people can't see that. We can't see we want to vote for somebody who's promising to lower prices at the market, to lower the gas tank, to do something about the schools. Why didn't she do it the last 4 years? That's been my question. Why don't okay, why don't you fix it now so we can see what you're really gonna do? Why do people believe
Exactly.
lies? Why are people so stupid? Mary, why are people like
Okay,
that? I don't get it.
okay, Maria de Jesus. It's obvious that we need a leadership like that. But having a leadership like that, I asked Mary, are you facing with this in District 2? With that threat? We all face it in the whole Albuquerque because it's just spread out the whole thing. And how much of your agenda will be dedicated towards that subject about immigration here in District 2? I would like to say because everybody has District 1, this and that, but Mary is representing right now the opportunity to be sitting for a county commissioner for the Bernardino County for District 2. What is your thoughts and how would you shed the light on it?
Well, I think one big thing is that we are a sanctuary city, a sanctuary county, and basically a sanctuary state. And when we have that designation, it just opens the door for cartels, for, all kinds of
Drugs,
people, yeah, for all types of drugs, for things that the rule of law, the laws that we have on the books are not able to be, the police and sheriff's department can't even enforce them. So that would be one of the biggest things is to get that off our thing, as a,
awareness to start doing something together, I say. That
Mhm.
would be the case.
Yes, where we can actually do the right thing and not be hamstrung or, chained up to being a sanctuary for nonsense and for illegal, activities. And that's a ridiculous thing to put that on our county and our city. And so for me, that would be one of the biggest things is to get rid of those designations, allow our, law enforcement people to do the right thing, to allow our, US attorneys and people to be able to deport people to Venezuela if they have to drop them off. Venezuelan government won't take back people who committed and been, crimes, and they've been
Well,
convicted of those, and they don't want them back. Of course
well,
not.
well, I mean, Donald Trump said it boldly. Venezuelan people. I mean, I don't have nothing against it. I'm
No.
Ecuadorian. I'm from South America. We're brothers. But there is a fact that we have to realize that bad apples coming in the same basket with good apples over here, like we also have over here. We should take time to weed out the bad apples in ourselves, not bringing more bad apples
Right.
for us to be able to concern ourselves too much. And but the only thing that I wanted to know is, Mary, is with this immigration, what point would you be involved in it?
Really not much other than what I was talking about.
Just awareness,
Yes,
as you say,
yes. And just the view
because
of not allowing, just having this ridiculous idea of
to be a
allowing.
voice,
Yes,
reminded
yes,
voice awareness.
yes.
Okay, let's go to the next topic because this is the one that Maria de Jesus likes a lot. And my God, am I going to hear from her? Okay, this is this is gender. Come on, Maria de Jesus, introduce the topic for you. Yeah, go ahead, knock yourself out.
Senor Vargas, Mary, it starts with, again, people letting it happen. The Santa Fe had a meeting and they said, let's pass a law here. Let's say that the teachers are in control, the schools are in control, the principals are in control of your children. Let's pass a law. Who says no? Oh, the parents are asleep. Oh, I guess they didn't know about this meeting. So everybody says, let's pass it. Let's take charge. The next day, the next 2 days, the next week, people find out these parents stayed dormant. They didn't say, hey, how come you didn't have the meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock in the day? Why did you have it at midnight? And correct me if I'm wrong, Mary. Why did you have it at midnight? And we didn't fight as parents. I mean, I don't have no babies in school, but we didn't fight as parents. Senor Vargas, we let it happen. Now, these kids at home, they monkey see, monkey do. Their little cameras, their little tape recorders, they learn quick. So now they're hearing all this stuff that's happening to the adults. Now they hear that mommy and daddy have no say in what they want to do. Yay! I can go open up my legs and get pregnant at 11. Mom and dad are not gonna, they don't think about consequences. They just think about what they want to do because these little kids in elementary, fifth, sixth grade, they're getting horny at that age. And don't tell me no, because I worked with the schools for many years. I'm sorry, Senor Vargas, but somebody's
That's
got to
okay.
say it. Somebody's
That's
got to say
okay.
it. Senor
I
Vargas,
heard, I heard worse than that, but
these, these little, I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can. These little fifth graders, sixth graders, they're already sleeping with each other, Senor Vargas. I know. Okay, they're getting pregnant. Now they don't have to go to
the
mom and
word
daddy.
the word is that the young kids are getting into a field that is called lust. So in a stage of their life, that it doesn't belong in that part that being in the schools. Like they just shouldn't
Yeah,
even know about that.
it does because now they're having abortions. And Senor Vargas, these abortionists are not doctors. The women are not nurses. They don't check this butcher building every year, once a year, once every 5 years to see if it's clean, if it's kosher. So therefore, these moms are dying, Senor Vargas.
Yeah.
They're dying.
Hold,
So
hold
the
that,
little,
that hold that abortion topic over there. Okay, go ahead. Don't spend too much on that because that's the next topic.
but it goes to the gender because now, besides the abortion, now these, you know that two little kids went into the school. One wanted to be a fish and one wanted to be a frog. One wanted to be a. It was a little boy. He was what, 5 years old, Senor Vargas. He wanted to be a little girl, and so you know what the school did to help him along, um, to help his thinking feel better. Baby, we can't do much right away, but let's help you go shopping. They went shopping and bought him his little girl outfits.
Exactly, Maria de Jesus. But let me get back really to the essence of the point of gender. It started, I think, from the school system. I believe it came up the whole concept. I mean, it came out a subject for the grown-ups way, and it's coming down, nailing too,
Way
because in the
back.
grown-up world, they don't have enough influence. You know what I mean? But in the children, they do, and the government is embracing that. And what do you think the whole idea yourself, and what do you think is it going to be part of your agenda when you get there?
Well, I mean, the bottom line with that whole issue of gender is doubting God, and that God made us, fearfully and wonderfully in the way that He wanted us to be. And so when we say, I was born in wrong body or whatever things, there's a confusion there. There's mental illness there that needs he needs help. The person needs to be counseled. The child particularly needs to be counseled and helped to understand the
Why
truth.
exactly? Why are they taking away the rights of a parent?
Because they're
Because
letting it happen.
the government truly wants to be in complete
Control.
control of every part of your life, from owning, quote, your children, directing their paths,
Exactly.
how they're educated. Whole thing is they, the government has put their tentacles in every part
Exactly.
of our
The
life.
level and power of influence is a lot greater in the child.
Oh, yeah.
But Senor
He's
Vargas
an
and Mary,
adult.
they're not going in front of the school board. You go in front of the school board and speak your mind. Why are you doing this to my child? He's my child. I had him. I had him in the belly. I went through the pain. You didn't. Get away from my baby. I am taking control of my son and my daughter. If you do anything against the health of my daughter, I will sue you. I will sue your ass. We're letting it happen, Senor Vargas. We're staying quiet. That school
Well, they
board
have the
meeting,
control on it. They have the legal control on it that it's coming to the point that we're not going to be able to do that. They will laugh in your face.
If you
because
see
we
some,
let it happen.
if
Mary,
you see somebody in New
what
Mexico,
was that voting that they had at 11 o'clock at night? There was one voting. I think it was five or six laws at 11 o'clock that they passed. Who's going to be at the Santa Fe at 11 o'clock at night?
I mean, when you're up in Santa Fe, they change things around. Okay, look, there's a lot of people who are against this law. We're going to postpone the hearing of that law. Oh, it was supposed to be today. Yes, I know you've driven up from Artesia, New Mexico or Ruidoso to talk about this, but too bad for you. We're changing it till tomorrow. And
There you go.
people can't all stay, so they end up driving back home to get home at midnight to go to their jobs. And they actually did step up there to have a voice, and it's squelched. And that is completely wrong. And that's how things are maneuvered. And like you're saying, suing the public schools. Guess who's in the judge's seat? Same progressive people, same emerged women who've been trained in Marxist and socialist and communist ways of thinking, and so progressive that that's who's going to be the final say on whether you can win this legal argument. And we've been facing that. I'm working with a group of people, and the people have been so wonderfully doing it on their own to try to stand up against these things, to try to have those referendum laws be put on the ballot. And we run up into so much, everything is closed to us. It's like, oh, you don't have standing, you don't have a right to say anything about this. And getting out of New Mexico into the federal system is about the only way that these things can be fought.
Okay, Mary,
Amen.
I like to understand when you're there in the city now, district to county Bernalillo County Commissioner, you're going to be our voice. We're going to come to you because we cannot go directly to the roundhouse. And we can go and protest and go around it, yeah, and be a voice. But it's different because you will have a seat there, right? That you can come over and say, listen, this is a concern at District 2. I'm dealing with this and this and that. This is a referendum that needs to be addressed. We need to work on it because the people there are not happy about that. It's impacting the community, it's impacting the neighborhood, and it's really bringing that district to a point that it needs to have attention. Isn't that it? What we
Yes, that's how it's supposed to be an open door to people and what the concerns are. And the commission has a huge impact on how money is spent. And there's a lot of money that comes in through the Burleigh
Amen.
County Commission for the jail, for the sheriff's department,
so you
for
will
Yes,
be
the hospitals.
exactly
yes.
okay. Let's do that. Yeah, we talked about what s- first topic: the
Education.
education, school system, immigration, gender. Now comes the topic that Maria de Jesus loves, that the abortion part of it.
Hates it, actually.
I mean, likes to. That's the only part where I like Maria de Jesus to say what she thinks. Because if she thinks what she got to say, she's not excited. She's not saying the truth. Come on, Maria de Jesus. Not, let us know your opinion. So Mary can guide us and be able to summarize into what is the focus of it for District 2.
There's 100% of abortion. Okay. I have proof because we discussed it in the show with Christina and others, Garza. Maybe 5% of it is, I don't want to say legit or okay, but I'm going to say it because no abortion is legit or okay because you're killing a miracle of God. But let's just say, okay, maybe you have an excuse for discussion, 5%. 95% are women. They're not women up. They're not woman up. They're not coming up. They're not rising up to responsibility. My job, the crumb won't marry me. Oh, well, it was an accident. I really didn't mean to get pregnant. Are you that stupid? Well, you know what? I changed my mind. I know. I'm going into my ninth month. I know, people, but it's my body and God forgives me. You know what, you little wench? Woman up, close your legs, get your guts cleaned up so that you don't have to make excuses and you can open your legs anytime you want. This is not a, this is not a pill. This is not a birth control. It's not an accident. You know what you're doing. 2 minutes, no, not even 2 minutes. 30 seconds of pleasure is worth killing a child. 30 seconds of pleasure is worth killing that beautiful little thing. Mary, 95% is birth control. Maybe 3-4%, let's give it 5, is incest, rape or something, a serious illness for a 10-year-old. But that 5% is left on the table for discussion with parents, with doctors, with an attorney, whatever. But the other 95% people, and I know women are listening to me, they're saying it's my body, you witch. No, it's 50% your body and 50% another body. And you know what God tells me in the word? He says, Maria, open up that mouth I gave you and be a defender of those who cannot defend themselves. Speak up, Maria. When others are criticizing you as what you're saying and how you're saying it, you know what? I don't use the word stupid or shit. But in my programs, it comes out because it is shit. Abortion is shit. And you are stupid if you don't know how to control it. Senor Vargas, I'm trying really hard not to cry. Because when you have a 9 months coming out of the woman's womb, and they're telling the woman that they killed it, and they keep it alive to sell it to China, to Russia, to make it be a year old, 2-year-olds, and then rape it 10 times a day. No, I don't like it. Or when they take it to UNM hospital alive, they put it on the butcher table. Come here, little Susie. Come here, little Johnny. Let's work on the heart. Let's work on the kidneys. But don't destroy the heart. Don't destroy the kidney because we're going to sell it for hundreds of thousands of dollars. UNM hospital is doing this. Oh my God, Maria, what are you saying? I'm speaking truth.
I understand, Maria de
I,
Jesus, but before we
that is
get to the point, yeah, before we get to that point of all the business that they built around it, we need to stop them. You know what I mean, Mary? What do you think is the best objective goal? Awareness? I know that if the president Donald Trump comes in to the seat, they're going to go running. They're going to feel like, hey, what you going to do when I come after you? Because Donald Trump was very specific and bold about what his intentions are. So there's a good situation right now that is happening because with that being a reality, they're going to be running, but they're still there. And I heard the other day that the governor, she is building what Maria de Jesus is calling a slaughterhouse. I mean, are they naive? Mary, I wonder.
Yeah, well, what you're referring to is, yeah, the taxpayer funded $10 million, probably more than that by the time this thing is finished, abortion and transgender facility for children, in Doñana County, my mom's says. There's already several abortion clinics down there. It's not needed to provide services for other states that have
I say they want
been
to
smart
they
enough
want
to
to
get
put out
rid
of
of them.
business. They want to put out of business the other businesses. They want to.
I think they'd like them, our governor would love them all to thrive, that they would be full every minute killing babies, plus doing the transgender stuff. I don't know, it's beyond belief.
What would you what would be how would you feel? What would be the responsibility of your part being at the district to to the people here, there, because we got to concentrate that Mary's it will be in the Bernalillo County Commissioner District 2. I want to concentrate that. What do you see there, and the mentality and the mood and is it happening to in the District 2 as well a lot?
Well, we have plenty of abortion clinics and more of them moving into, Bernalillo County, all the time. One thing that's a little bit off, but I'm really pushing for a safe harbor for a baby box in Bernalillo County.
Okay.
And that is, that's been put in other counties that would allow a mother who has a baby and just can't deal with it, but she's been wise enough and good enough to have the baby instead of kill the baby, that she would want someone to take care of this child anonymously. And that's part of the tricky part, is to find a place that doesn't have cameras, doesn't have, a bunch of people around, that the mother could safely, leave the baby. And I believe the fire chief I've spoken to for Bernalillo County is also wants to do that. So I would really try to encourage and help, fund and do that. Um, what else is in there, I wouldn't have
You were
probably
fine.
direct control over facilities, in
And you in
Bernalillo County.
District 2?
Yeah, but we, I would always stand up on the right
You
for
get
good,
gathered
for
together
life.
to go to the commissioners and then do something gathering and say, and relate the problems that are impacting, because problems could be moving around. You know what I mean? If it's one area is not good for it, they're gonna move District 3, or they're gonna District 3 gonna move to 2 and all that,
Yes.
depending where the opportunity will flourish.
Unfortunately, the abortion clinics are a big business, and that's what this whole thing is driven by, is money. That's why they're doing the transgender, because they can get a child at 8 years old to go through these surgeries, and then for the rest of their
Who will pay
lives,
that?
Oh
Parent would,
my
huh?
God,
insurance to track
The
the
insurance?
taxpayers, yeah.
Yeah,
Medicaid
exactly, the
pay
oh
government.
surgeries
my
for the,
God.
well,
Medicaid,
it's
Medicaid.
Ourselves, we pay indirectly by being
But the
mismanaged by the government. That's what you're
exactly,
saying.
yes. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't know the specifics of it, but those are businesses. All those abortion clinics are
What would you like to
businesses.
see?
I'd like to see them all closed down and turned into, little gyms for kids to do gymnastics or something.
Mary, Mary, Mary and Senor Vargas, it ain't gonna happen. Okay, we're talking about people being elected. Okay, they're elected. We're talking about boards now. Let's say school board and commissioner board. Okay, fine. Now, for years, the school board, no parents show up. You know who shows up? We need a light at this corner. We need this sidewalk widened. We need speed bumps. We need people. Parents don't go because of what's happening in the bathrooms in the school, because of the gender change in the schools, because of the pregnancies of these little girls at the schools. Parents don't go. You know how I know? I live in Rio Doso now, and I'm practically, well, the only parent at the school board meetings. That's that's crazy. Mary can be elected to this board, and all the board can be Republican. But if the people don't rise up to support them, to vote for what they're saying, this is going to happen at the school system in the bathrooms. If we're not there to vote on this, what good is it to have all Republicans? What good is it? They can vote on it. They can push it. They can try to push it if these parents aren't showing up. But parents, you need to show up. You need to
Okay,
you need to rise
excellent.
up.
Okay, but that's a common knowledge and influence in all the Bernalillo County. But we're pinpointing District 2. What would you see happening there in reality? Because saying that disappearing all of them, I will say that's a long fight, but we can accomplish it. So what would you like to see immediately of your involvement in the District 2?
Well, one thing that we need is God. And so I would, a prayer team for the county to pray over the specific things that expenditures that people, the way that taxpayer money is going to be spent, and the different programs that if we have a team that could know those things, that could gather together and pray, for God's will in those, I think that would be the best thing. The second thing would be for churches to be
Hello.
part of this government, that they would know. Um, had a pastor recently he didn't know much of anything, it appeared, of what we were talking about in these realms. And so he's pastoring a church. So if he doesn't know, it's likely his flock doesn't know
Yeah,
what's really happening.
because a family gathering in the house
and
of God.
Yes. So I think our churches need to be educated, and the pastors need to realize that what's happening, that the foundation's crumbling, and you can kind of try to put your Christian church up on a hill for a little while so that the floodwaters don't get there, but they eventually get in there, and they're also picking off the children that are walking to school and walking to wherever, the parks, and having the pedophiles and people around them. So it's infiltrated the church. You look at any church and you see all of the filth and sin of this, being perpetrated on children specifically, and all of us. The crime, it hasn't. No criminal asks what political party you are you a Christian or not, before I steal your car, rape your daughter, or whatever it is. So the church has to recognize their role
No.
as a salt and a light in Bernalillo County.
Excellent,
So,
excellent. Go ahead,
But
finish.
Senor Vargas,
thank you.
Senor Vargas, that's what I'm saying. Everything Mary's saying is boiling down to people are not rising up. The churches are not rising up. That's what I'm saying. If we don't rise up, am I wrong, Mary? If we, the people, of the people, for the people, do not rise up as an America, it's not going to happen. I see it at all the meetings I go to, Mary. Nobody's there to speak except for somebody who lives in Rio Doso.
Yeah, you're right, though. You're right. Okay, now we're going to go to the last topic. Close the time we gather here together to talk about is government. Go ahead.
Oh,
You being involved with government, Maria de Jesus, and I close it. Go ahead.
Well, Ronald Ronald Reagan talks about government, and he says basically that government is not a good thing in a lot of ways, especially these days. And he uses a thought that the people, are the driver of the car,
Mhm.
and the car is the government. The car can't do anything,
With us.
on its own, and it should not be. Right now, it's the opposite. The government is the driver, and we're the car, and they're taking us wherever they want to go. And so we've got to switch those roles to say we must direct what's happening, and the expenditure of our money as people,
Okay.
and the rules that are being made, and the laws that are made, not even enforced. We the people have to direct government, and basically, in
the
my opinion,
people,
is tell them to get out of a lot of places and
the
stop.
people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned something about good analogy. We are the people, and the government is the car, but it's got to be a manual that you get to know what you have in your car and what to do with your car, turning left and right. You know what that manual is?
Well, it should be
Jesus
the Ten
Christ.
Commandments.
Is is
Jesus
is is
Christ.
is the Constitution of Jesus Christ? It's the Bible. So
The constitutions, there are good documents.
yeah,
If we follow those, we follow the Ten Commandments, we follow what's in the Bible, we will be on the right track.
exactly.
But when we've thrown all that out,
Sometimes you put a crazy driver.
yep, that's what we got right now. One that doesn't care about spending every drop of money that anybody has,
Exactly.
taking away all the power that the people have, just
Exactly.
forcing down our throats.
You have a driver that does not drive through the right roads. He goes through homes. He goes through people. Goes through everything without acknowledging that is order and there's a law
Amen.
and it's a rule.
Amen. Senor Vargas, do we have a program after this? Because we're like way over.
No, no, I think I don't. I supposed to have a meeting right after that, but the person is not coming here. That's why I led to a few more minutes on this. But that's what I wanted. What about that, Mary and Maria de Jesus? Next time we're going to summarize what we talked today, which is schools, immigration, gender, abortion, government. Wow, I'm good. I remember every single one in order. And you know how
Very
I did that? You know how I did that? I took the first letter and it's SIGA. And that in Spanish is siga, means go ahead. Yeah. So I said, and then where are we going to? To the government. Wow, my good analogy though. I mean, having Maria de Jesus over here, she taps on all the wisdom that I gathered through my life, and I just kind of make sense of all the things, and I do sincerely live to serve, because if I don't live to serve, I don't. I'm not good to live this life, and I believe Mary is a person who's trying to bring and making us aware of the needs. Okay, and Maria de Jesus over here is voice, I will call it, the true naked voice of it. And I'm just about a servant over here that I'm glad to be able to do the necessary meanings through this radio station to bring you that thought, that idea, that part where makes you think, it makes you get up from that seat and say, wow, I didn't know that was happening. I didn't understand it that way. I mean, this is going to be a lot. If I care about who's coming behind me, my family, I need to care because I'm living a world that is not wanted. The future for my kids is not what I work with. But anyways, Maria de Jesus, we're good. We're ready to go. I mean, who's going to do the prayer for the end of the program?
Mary, Mary,
I
Mary.
believe I should do it in Spanish to touch the hearts of the people, really. I think that'd be amazing, and I can understand the Spanish, so you guys
Okay, go
must be
ahead,
doing.
Maria de
Yeah,
Jesus. Take a shot. Otherwise,
please.
go ahead, Maria de Jesus.
Padre Dios, gracias, Padre. Y un perdoncito, Padre, a la persona que no entendió muy bien el idioma de inglés. Perdóname, normalmente le meto el español, pero la siguiente vez. Quiero una bendición tremenda, tremenda sobre la promesa, los pastores, las pastoras, sobre Mary, sobre señor Vargas. Padre Dios, yo sé que usted nos protege, que usted dice que nunca, nunca nos abandona. Quiero darles gracias, Padre Dios. Bendice al que nos ve, al que nos escucha, que son fiel a estos programas. No, no se equivocan, familia. Por favor, no nos dejen solos. Escuchen estas palabras. Escuchen para que se levanten. Levántense, familia. Padre Dios, que todo mundo se levante a la luz, a lo bueno, a Cristo, a Dios, a Jesús, a la cosa buena, que vean lo que ha pasado los últimos 4 años, Padre Dios, que despierte la gente, Padre, que empiecen a abrir esa palabra, la Biblia, para que sepan en su corazón lo que es bueno realmente, lo que es malo. Gracias por este programa, gracias por Carlitos, por Michael. En el nombre de Jesús le doy gracias, Padre, le doy gracias por tanto privilegio, tanta oportunidad de ser su boca. En el nombre de Jesús, amén.
Amen. Well, thank you. Thank you very much to Mary Ingham for Bernalillo County Commissioner, District 2. Now I got it right. Maria de Jesus. Maria de Jesus, you got a nice little saying in it. It says, growing together, not apart. I like it. I wonder who thought about that.
I don't know. I think she's blonde and sitting right next to you or in front of you.
I'll say, and myself, I'm just here. I mean, I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to learn. I'm happy to go to the next stage that God is taking me to. I enjoy it. I'm passionate about it. I know I'm just human. Okay. I know I can err, but in God's hand, believe me, I'll find the perfect time this time to be able for him to teach me who else in this world than him
Amen.
be my mentor. Thank you very much. God bless you. We'll see you next Friday at the same time, 9 o'clock.
Bye, Mary.